Hey everybody, this is Wendy from Wendolonia, and today I'm bringing you another Traveler's Notebook process video. So today I'm working with some photos from an Oakland A's game that we went to at the end of March. Every year, my son's baseball league attends the Little League Day at the A's game, and most of the people from the league go. It's a really super fun time. So this year we went with his best friend. He had stayed overnight the night before, and then we met up with his friend's mom when we got to the game. So I have some photos of us sitting in the stands enjoying ourselves, and I knew that I wanted to use a lot of the A's colors, green and yellow, in this spread because we're wearing hats and stuff like that, but also kind of to get the spirit of the A's. So I started off with a page in my traveler's notebook that was white with yellow polka dots on it. And then I found this green gingham paper in my stash that I liked, and so I went ahead and I put all those photos down onto that paper. I just kind of eyeballed it at first, and then I realized that I put them too far apart and they wouldn't all fit on the page if I did that. So then I had to move them around and make them fit in that 8-inch tall space there. Once I knew it would fit, I went ahead and I glued that baby up. I wanted to make sure it didn't come out, so there's lots of tape going on there, double-sided tape. And I stuck it down in the notebook and rubbed it to make sure it stayed. One of the things I worry about with these traveler's notbooks, is that things are going to fall out. And that hasn't started yet, but I've heard from other people that it's a possibility. So I've been going to some extra effort to try to keep them in good shape with lots of glue and stuff like that because, they are small, they don't have page protectors, they get handled a lot more than the bigger albums I make, and I just want to make sure that they last a little bit longer than they might naturally last. All right, so what you see me doing here is I'm starting the stamping, and I'm going to stamp out A's game with this alphabet set. This is called the Pattern Pop alphabet set. It's part of the Studio Calico stamp subscription. I really love this alphabet. It's a good sans serif typeface outline, and then it also has an inside letters that you can use separately or together with the outline stamps, and those have little patterns inside of them, which I think are really fun. So I'm starting off here. I'm stamping out A's game with the dark green ink. And what you see me doing here is I'm lining these up on grid paper to make sure that the word is nice and straight before I stamp it down. So this is one of my little tricks. I've bought a really big 11 by 14 paper pad, gridded paper pad, and I often use that as my work surface. And even when I don't, I take those extra pages that I pull off and I use those for my stamping, sort of off to the side. I use the grid pattern for lining things up, that kind of stuff. So that's what I was doing there. I've got my A's game stamped out, and now I'm going to stamp in the little yellow patterns inside. I did a lot of editing here so you didn't have to see my head. It's kind of important that you lean directly over the stamping to see where the stamp is going, and I know it's not fun to see the back of my head the whole time I'm doing that. So now I'm moving on to some die cuts. I got out again my big set of baseball die cuts, and this time I'm looking for balls and green and yellow. I pulled out those peanuts at first, and I ended up not using them. When we go to baseball games, my husband and my son, Augie, love to eat peanuts. And I often bring them with us so that we don't have to buy them there because they cost like, I don't know, $8 or something like that, when you can buy them at the grocery store for $2, and they're literally exactly the same. They're in the exact same package. So anyway, I didn't use them because I couldn't figure out how to make it fit, and that really wasn't part of the story, the peanut eating anyway. So instead, I pulled out these baseball die cuts and I put them down on the page. That one that crosses the gutter there, I was using that because somehow I smudged green ink on my page. You can probably kind of see it there, and I wanted to cover it up. I'm a messy, messy stamper. I try so hard to not make a mess, but I almost always smudge my stamping. So this is one of my techniques for making it so you can't see it, is I just put something over it. So once I got those die cuts down, I wrote some journaling, and I just sort of talked about we went a little bit later this year, which actually made it a lot more fun, and just wrote out some of the story of that day. When I finished putting that journaling down, which, yes, I have speeded up significantly in the video, I decided the page needed a little something extra, and so I got out my baseball stamps, again from Studio Calico, to stamp the date and the word baseball over and over and over up at the top. You can see me stamping the date here. Eventually, I used the green for that. And then I took the word baseball and I inked it up once, and then I just stamped it down 3 times so it kind of faded out down the side of that page. When I was all done with it, I realized that I had a really great stamp that said "Take me out to the ball game" that I hadn't noticed earlier. And I wish I would have stamped it above the date, but I didn't have room for that. So instead, I stamped it kind of down in the lower left corner. You can see some close-ups of what I did. Thanks a lot for joining me today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment if you have any questions, and I'll try and answer them down below. I'd love it if you joined me by subscribing today. And if you do that, please be sure to hit the bell so you get notified every time I post a new video. Thanks. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.